The Fisherman and His Soul by Oscar Wilde. A summary. In the story, The Fisherman and His Soul, a young fisherman falls in love with a mermaid and wishes nothing more than to wed her. But he is unable to do so because it is impossible for a person to have a soul and live a life underwater. As he visits his priest, the priest tells him that his soul is his most valuable property and that the soulless mermen are doomed to perish. He goes to different merchants to try to sell his soul, but they all tell him that it is not worth anything. After consulting a witch, he learns that his soul is actually his shadow and that it may be removed from his body with a knife made of viper skin if he dances with the witch. After severing his shadow and soul from his body, his soul confronts him with the reality that the world is merciless and requests that he take his hurt with him so that he may calm all of his worries. However, the fisherman chooses not to give his soul his hurt because he believes that the one he loves deserves to have it. Instead, he casts his soul away and descends into the ocean to be with the mermaid. The soul visits the fisherman once per year to give him an update on what he has been up to while the fisherman has been away. Every year he goes in a new direction and meets new people from faraway cultures. Every year he also finds himself in possession of a miraculous object, but the fisherman values love more than anything else the soul has tried to entice him with. First, he discusses the mirror of wisdom, which is regarded as a deity in the East. Next, he describes the ring of riches, which came from an emperor who was willing to leave his whole treasure trove to the soul after the soul was able to withstand all the emperor's assaults. In the third year, the soul relates to the fisherman a story of a nearby city that contains a woman who dances barefoot. He came to the conclusion that, given its proximity and the ease with which he might return to his legless mermaid, he should accompany the soul on her trip to watch her dance. As he emerges from the sea, he and his soul are brought back together. The soul gives the fisherman tasks to complete as they go through other cities along the road. In the first city, the fisherman is instructed to steal a silver cup. In the second city, he is to beat a child. And in the third city, he is to kill and rob the host of the home in which they have been staying. The fisherman found himself in a confrontation with his soul, who pointed out to him that he had not provided him with a hurt. The fisherman makes another attempt to sever his connection to his soul, but soon realizes that once they have been brought back together, there is no way they can ever be separated again. When the fisherman got back to the shore, he built a shack next to the ocean and started calling out to the mermaid every day. But she never showed up. After a number of years have passed, the lifeless body of the mermaid washes up on the beach, and the fisherman is holding it while the ferocious waves engulf him. When the priest discovered the dead mermaid being held in the arm of the drowned fisherman, he declared both of them to be cursed and had them buried in an unmarked cemetery in the far corner of a field. He then chose not to bless the grave using water as he had intended to do. 3 years later, the priest walks to the flower covered altar with the intention of delivering a sermon about God's furious anger. However, for reasons that he is unable to explain, he is unable to do so. And instead, he talked of God's love when he questioned the deacons about the origin of the flowers which are used to decorate the altar. They explained that they originated from the farthest corner of the field where the mermaid and the fishermen were buried. The following day, the priest bestowed his blessing over the grave. Nevertheless, the flowers never blossomed again, and the merman moved to another bay as a result.